social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. We're back up in the building. Ready to have a good conversation on Mayor Monday. We're going to start with the D.C. mayor. So let's bring her in. Let's see what she got, what's going on up in D.C. All right. This is not really about the mayor, but I just thought it was a really good conversation. So let's go.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser's decision to remove Black Lives Matter Plaza has sent shockwaves through our region and across the country. The mural served as a symbol for equal rights and a visual representation that Washington, D.C. was leading the way for change. News 4's An Yang sat down with a local professor to discuss the move by the mayor and the impact it will have for years to come.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says the Black Lives Matter mural on 16th Street will be painted over. The bright yellow letters that spell out Black Lives Matter became symbolic nationwide after the murder of George Floyd. Joining us now to talk about the impact of this change is Dr. Kay Wise Whitehead, the founding executive director of the Carson Institute for Race, Peace, and Social Justice at Loyola University.
Wow.
Thanks for joining us. So it may not come as a surprise that this is happening, but it will certainly leave a mark, not just from the obvious visual standpoint. Can you talk about the emotional significance of painting over these words?
Having to wrestle with the fact that not only are we at a different place in terms of the administration, we're at a different place in terms of people's feelings around diversity, equity, and inclusion. We're at a different place when it comes to the erasure of historic programs in Black history and women's history. We're now seeing that the next step is removing or covering up these visual representations that were so important during the Black Lives Matter movement, these historical markers that we have looked at as being the way of understanding how it is that an organization, that an institution, that a city wrestles with something that is so important.
Yes, and you talk about the ripple effects. What do you think the reaction will be to the change here in the city and nationwide, especially once that mural is gone?
You're going to have this camp of people who are like me, who are concerned about what does it mean to move down this path of erasure. Kind of a second camp, I would say it's people who are happy that it's being removed. We know that Black Lives Matter was not celebrated across the board. We know that Black Lives Matter is considered to be something that was divisive, and people thought we were saying only Black Lives Matter, and we were saying Black Lives Matter too. Like in addition to other lives matter, we were saying our lives matter as well, specifically when it comes to a conversation around police brutality. And then there's a third group of people, and those are the ones I'm most concerned about, who are not even going to know that there's a difference. Like they never paid attention to it, and they don't know why it was significant. And so when it gets removed, they're not even aware that this really signifies a huge shift in where we're moving as a nation.
What are other changes you're expecting to see, as city leaders have said that they have to work with this new administration strategically?
I'm expecting to see a lot of challenges in cities around the country where any visible markers dealing with freedom, representation, equity, diversity, inclusion will be challenged. And I'm expecting that mayors might take the path of least resistance, which is what I see happening in Washington, D.C. Rather than fighting the president and fighting the representatives on this, it's easier to just remove it with the idea that if I just play along at this moment, then maybe I can be in a better position to get what I need for my city going down the road.
Thank you so much for your time and for joining us with your insights on this issue.
Looking ahead, as soon as tomorrow, D.C.'s Department of Transportation says that it will start reconstruction of Black Lives Matter Plaza. That means expect road closures on 16th Street in Northwest for about the next 6 to 8 months. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser announced plans to paint over and rename the road one day after a Republican congressman introduced a bill demanding those changes or risk losing federal funding. Mayor Bowser spoke on MSNBC this weekend. She says that this was her decision because she has other priorities.
I don't want anybody to think that the Republican made that decision for us. I'd made that decision because it's important to me to focus on the big issues affecting the district when I'm talking to Republican members of Congress and the White House. I can't start the conversation talking about Black Lives Matter Plaza when we need to be talking about $8 billion of Medicaid cuts that could affect the district.
Black Lives Matter Plaza came to be in June of 2020. Tonight, people gathered in Northwest for one final look. Our John Duran was there, too.
There's a lot of cars. Just press the button.
He's framing up the final few shots. Elvin Coleman drove from his home in Woodbridge to see this one last time.
My wife and I, Doris, we got up early this morning and we ate breakfast and came out here.
Coleman says it's a mural that represents the people of D.C.
I just wish that it could stay, but the president wants it to go. So, yes, I have no choice, but I'm going to just enjoy it while I can.
To continue the fight for justice, and I say yo to the news.
The Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity's Eastern Province also came out to celebrate this stretch of road and its meaning since it was renamed and repainted nearly 5 years ago.
We choose to commemorate and uplift the message of resilience and solidarity that the mural represents.
Whether it's the pavement says it or not, we'll still be here, we still matter, and we still have a love for this country.
This group isn't protesting the city's removal of the mural, but hopes the message of Black Lives Matter Plaza carries on.
I would be telling a story if I said that I didn't want this to stay and remain, more so as a reminder for us to always be aware of how we interact with each other, how we unify, how we make each other feel in this wonderful and diverse country.
Removal and reconstruction begin Monday.
We support the mayor, but we also support the legacy of this mural.
There we go.
And made sure to capture its memory.
I appreciate each and every one of you for being here today.
In Northwest D.C., John Duran, WUSA 9.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So that is the end of an error. I'm not going to say an era, but an error in even naming it Black Lives Matter. The fact that we ever did that is a shame and a sham. Now, real quick, I want to look at the young lady that actually is responsible for it, and then we'll get up out of here on our Mayor's Monday today. Let me bring this back in. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
We know changes are coming to Black Lives Matter Plaza, which is just near the White House. The iconic yellow lettering on the street will be replaced, as will the name. Now, some are wondering if this is happening because of legislation introduced by a Georgia congressman. If passed, the bill would force Mayor Muriel Bowser to rename the plaza or lose federal funding. But the mayor told WUSA 9 plans to repaint it were already in the works. Our Melissa Kim spoke to the artist who painted the mural 5 years ago.
That story is never going to be washed away. It will forever be with us.
A poignant moment for Kiana Jones as she looks at her work at Black Lives Matter Plaza.
It's bittersweet, right?
She painted the 2-block stretch on 16th Street Northwest in June 2020. The space was created after the death of George Floyd as a place for both protests and healing.
That's what art is about. It's about creating. It's about having hard conversations, and you can create again. So it's never gone forever.
In a statement on Tuesday, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser said the district will paint over the mural that stands 1 block from the White House. Today, she explained why.
We have bigger fish to fry than fights over what has
Muriel
been
Bowser.
very important to us and to their history, and especially in our ability to keep our city safe during that time. That mural played a very important part.
Kiana, who is a Southeast D.C. native, understands the mayor's decision.
People have been losing jobs. There have been budget cuts. There's been a lot that's been going on. And to have to fight for this and potentially lose a lot of funding that we definitely need right now, I understand that we have to make a choice, and sometimes art may not be it.
So at this moment, Kiana is choosing to reflect on the impact that her work made.
It speaks for itself. People travel the world to see this.
Including civil rights leader and former Georgia Congressman John Lewis, who made his last public appearance at Black Lives Matter Plaza in June 2020 before he died 1 month later.
It's a moment in history that can't be erased. I'm so honored and grateful to be a part.
She says while her work may be washed away physically, it will always be a part of her spirit that she leaves in her hometown.
Yeah, it can't be washed out. Exactly. Can't wash me out, baby.
As for what the new name will be, part of Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde's bill calls for the new name to be Liberty Plaza. When asked about it today, Mayor Bowser simply said she does not support the congressman's bill. At Black Lives Matter Plaza, I'm Melissa Kim, WUSA 9.
Thank you so much. What do you think about Black Lives Matters Plaza being erased being, I don't like the word erased. I don't like that because I don't think it ever should have been there. Being repainted and renamed Liberty Plaza. What do you think about that? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you support this effort? And I'm looking forward to hearing what you got to say. So I'll see you down there. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.